Winter has wrapped the mountains and valleys in silence. The village no longer greets the laughter of children at play. No movement. Beneath the snow lies buried poverty. A young peasant named Saburo walks the frozen field. He looks up to the sky without knowing what he longs for. The elders whisper, "This winter is unlike the rest." The daimyo's men will arrive soon to collect their due. More rice, more tax. But the earth is dry, and the storehouses have little to offer. When Saburo's eyes search the shelves, he sees not only hunger, but growing snowflakes. Fall in his fists, he clenches them. He cannot sleep. The sky is ice, and his heart is confusion. What is honor? He asks himself. Is he just a ghost to be taxed and forgotten? A dog howls in the dawn. Saburo makes a choice. Someone must say enough. In the distance, a lone figure approaches, a samurai. His armor glistens in the pale sunlight, a stark contrast against the white expanse. It is Shinobi, the daimyo's son, famed for his ruthlessness. He has come to this village to collect the winter tax, but he finds something else. A young man with a fiery spirit that refuses to be broken. Shinobi demands to see the village elder. When they are alone, Saburo reveals his plan. They will leave together, he says, and find a way to end the cycle of poverty in this land. Hope flickers in the old man's eyes. Perhaps it is time for a new beginning. That night, under the cloak of darkness, they set out into the snowy fields. Behind them, the village sleeps, oblivious to the danger that lurks in the shadows. For Shinobi is not alone, his every move is tracked by Cage, a ninja who will stop at nothing to protect his master. As they journey deeper into the mountains, Saburo realizes he is not just fighting for himself or his village, but for all those who have suffered under the daimyo's rule. The snow falls silently, blanketing the world in white, and in the distance, a new day begins to break. The sun hasn't crested the mountains yet, but Saburo is already up. The soil beneath his nails feels like a second skin. As he bends to the field, his eyes drift toward the mountains. Same path, same mud, same weariness. But today, even the earth beneath his feet feels heavier. He works in silence, but the sounds of the landowners passing by break the quiet. Mounted men in fine clothes, their horses' hooves barely touching the ground as they go by. Dust rises. No one dares to look up. Saburo bows his head, but something inside him whispers, "Why must I live in the shadows?" A drop of sweat falls from his brow into the soil. Maybe this is his first rebellion. He doesn't stop working, not until the sun dips below the mountains, setting the sky aflame with color. Then he walks to the river and sits by the bank watching the water flow. He sees the reflection of the setting sun, but for a moment, he almost sees his father's reflection. The man had tilled this land, this very land, and then he vanished in the war, leaving Saburo to take his place. "Father, why did you stay silent?" The river says nothing, but the wind that brushes past his cheek carries a whisper. As long as you stay silent, they grow stronger. Saburo closes his eyes, feeling the wind, tasting the salt of the earth on his lips. He knows what he has to do. When the moon replaces the sun, Saburo stands, his silhouette stark against the dying embers of the day. He looks toward the village where lanterns are beginning to glow, one by one, each a tiny spark of defiance against the encroaching darkness. He turns back to the field, to the whisper of the wind, to the murmur of the river, and he begins to sing. His voice, hoarse from disuse, cracks at first, but soon it is strong and clear, carrying on the night wind. A song of resilience, a song of resistance, a song of hope. He sings of the days when the earth was their only master, when the mountains stood as silent witnesses to their sweat and toil, when the river was their companion and the wind their confidant. He sings of the years stolen by the war, of the lives broken, of the dignity denied, and as he sings, the earth listens, the mountains tremble, and the river rejoices. For in Saburo's song, it hears its own voice, the voice of a people, the heart of the soil. The bell tears through the night. The daimyo's men strike the village. Torches, screams, smoke. Saburo finds his door broken. Yuki is gone. His mother is trapped inside. The house burns. His eyes fill with tears, but he cannot move. He hears a scream from an alley. Saburo runs, but a samurai strikes him down. Face in the dirt, he screams her name. She is dragged away behind him. His eyes fix on the void. He failed to protect her. Saburo wakes in a village that never saw morning. Among the ashes, he finds his mother's pendant. He kneels. His eyes search the sky, but he says nothing. He only clutches the soil. For the first time, he holds not a sword, but a decision sharpened like one. The memory of the burning village fuels his resolve as he begins his descent into the mountains. Deep within the bamboo forest, a lone figure stands bathed in moonlight. Her white hair flows like a waterfall, cascading down her back. Her eyes, pools of endless sorrow, stare vacantly into the distance. Beside her, a single white rose wilts, its petals falling listlessly to the ground. Suddenly, a voice breaks the silence, a voice filled with anguish and determination. "Show yourself, you coward!" The moonlight glistens off the blade as Saburo draws his sword, ready to confront whatever darkness awaits him. In the depths of despair, he finds an ally in the most unexpected of places, a blind swordsman who sees beyond the physical realm. Guided by this enigmatic mentor, Saburo hones his skills, not just in swordplay, but in the art of enduring. Each strike of his blade echoes the pain in his heart. Each parry resonates with the sorrow that threatens to consume him. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows around them, the blind swordsman speaks. "Your pain is your strength, young one. Embrace it. Let it guide you. But do not let it consume you. For true strength lies not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to move forward despite it." Saburo's resolve hardens like steel. He will not allow his pain to define him. He will become stronger, not just for himself, but for those he has lost. With newfound determination, he leaves the mountains, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Beneath the shadows, Saburo doesn't speak to the few who remain. He is alone but watched. Everyone knows the daimyo's men will return. Saburo walks to an abandoned shrine on the mountainside. There, beneath the withered tree, he finds a rusted armor and a forgotten sword. He grips it and holds his breath. Won't fight yet, but he will no longer run. Saburo spends the night in the forest. He lights no fire, no smoke, no trace. There is no food, but the fire within him burns enough. He hears Yuki's voice echo. His mother's face lives beneath his closed eyes. "I'm not alone anymore," he whispers. "They still speak inside me." Saburo rises early, does not return to the village. He walks toward the mountain paths. Each step is silent, but as if the whole mountain stirs with him. The rebellion hasn't started yet. But inside him, No now stands like a wall. A lone samurai stands against the rising sun, a silhouette of unwavering resolve against the dawning day. His name is Saburo. His face, etched with the memories of a fallen lord and a lost love, is set with grim determination. In his hand, he tightly grips a weathered katana, its polished blade gleaming with a cold, hard light. The memory of betrayal burns in his heart, fueling his every step as he journeys through the dense undergrowth. For 3 days he has walked, haunted by the ghost of his former glory and driven by the desire for vengeance. Yet there is no trace of fear in his eyes, only a deep, unyielding sadness. His steps are silent, his presence commanding respect from the very trees that stand as silent witnesses to his pain. He moves like a phantom, swift and deadly, his senses attuned to the forest around him. Saburo stops at the edge of a clearing, his eyes fixed on the crumbling ruins of an ancient temple. It is here that he must make a decision, a choice that will determine his fate and that of his lord's unborn child, the heir who would unite their clan once more. The weight of responsibility is heavy upon his shoulders, but his resolve does not waver. With a warrior's grace, Saburo draws his katana, the polished blade catching the fading light of day. He is ready to face whatever challenges lie before him. His heart heavy with the memory of those he has lost, but his spirit unbroken, for he is Saburo, the last hope of his clan, and he will not falter. He will not break. The wind whispers secrets through the pines as Saburo, a young Japanese man, walks the ancient mountain paths. These yamadori, or mountain trails, were once used by warriors to test their spirit. Beneath towering rocks that have stood for centuries, no human voice can be heard. Only the sound of stone, wind, and birds. But Saburo feels no fear. He sees the beauty in the struggle, the resilience of the mountains, the strength in the stillness, searches for meaning in every path. memories in every cliff. This place becomes his silent monastery. As he journeys deeper into the mountains, Saburo comes across a small mountain pond. The moon's reflection shimmers on the still waters. He bends down and washes his face. When he looks up, the reflection staring back at him is no longer familiar. It's not a boy, not yet a man, but a soul now shaped by the silence of the mountains. At dawn, Saburo stops on a narrow path high above the valley. The rising sun paints the sky with hues of pink and orange. And there, nestled among the rocks, he sees a small stone statue, a Jizo, the guardian of travelers. Saburo nods, a faint smile touching his lips. For the first time since his father's death, he feels a sense of peace. The anger and the desire for revenge are still burning inside him. But the road ahead seems less like a path to retribution and more like a journey of purpose. This is the story of the Spirit of Stone, where a young man seeking revenge finds peace and purpose on a spiritual journey through the mountains. Inspired by the ancient Japanese practice of Yamadera, or mountain asceticism, this tale explores themes of resilience, self-discovery, and the transformative power of nature. Through Saburo's journey, we learn that sometimes the greatest battles are fought within ourselves, and the quietest places can be the loudest. To continue this adventure, click on the next chapter or head over to our website to immerse yourself in more stories like this. Those who burn in the shadows. Saburo sees a campfire in the woods. He approaches slowly. At first, he sees 3 figures sitting around the fire: an old warrior, a healer woman, and a young boy. Each of them carries the same exhaustion, and the same words are needed. They know each other. They, too, are the silenced. No names are asked around the fire, but each one tells a story without words. The woman's face bears old burns. The warrior's arm is gone. The boy's hands still tremble. And Saburo, he lowers his head. He whispers just one word, Yuki. The flame rises. No one shouts. But all 4 lift their heads. The warrior lays down his old sword, the woman her pouch of herbs, the boy a stone, Saburo a handful of words. But that night a rebellion is born. In the morning, they vanish. Only the fire remains, burning bright. As the sun rises, a lone samurai steps out of the trees. His armor is that of a general, but his face is hidden behind a wooden mask. He kneels by the fire and closes his eyes. When he opens them, a new resolve is there. He is ready to fight for those who can't, ready to protect the innocent and take down the corrupt, ready to be the voice of the voiceless. As he stands, a small smile appears under his mask. For he knows he is not alone. Across the land, others are rising, tired of being silenced, tired of living in fear. They are ready to make their voices heard. They are ready to burn in the shadows. This is more than a story. This is a call to action. This is a call for those who feel they have no voice, who feel like they have nothing left to lose. It's time to rise. It's time to burn bright. It's time to be the change you want to see in the world. So what will you do with your story? Will you let it die with you? Or will you use it to inspire others? The choice is yours. But remember, even the smallest spark can start a revolution. So don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be the voice of the voiceless. Because when we all work together, when we all burn together, we can create a world where everyone's voice can be heard. We can create a world where no one has to be silenced. And if anyone tries to silence you, if anyone tries to snuff out your flame, then remember this story. Remember the warrior, the healer, the boy, and most importantly, remember Saburo. Let their courage inspire you. Let their sacrifice fuel you. Above all, let their memory keep you going. Snow falls. Silence blankets the village and the forest. Saburo walks with his companions, their footsteps silent on the fresh snow. Their footprints vanish beneath the swirling flakes. But the fire in their hearts does not fade. Winter's cold tests their resilience, but they keep going. They make fire, a small fire, but a lantern passed hand to hand becomes a small light. Every face is marked by snow and fatigue, but in their eyes, a new hope shines. Saburo speaks, his voice hoarse from the cold. This winter will not break us. We will carry the burden of Mother Earth on our shoulders. His companions echo the words. The snow keeps falling. The rebellion grows. Days turn into nights. Nights turn into days. The snow falls relentlessly, muffling the sounds of their struggle. The villagers huddle around their small fires, sharing stories, sharing dreams, sharing their determination to fight back. One day, Saburo finds a small clearing. In the distance, he sees a group of soldiers approaching. He motions for everyone to hide. He takes a deep breath, then lets out a war cry, a challenge. The soldiers hesitate, taken aback by the sight before them. Saburo and his companions emerge from the trees, their faces painted with war. Paint, their eyes blazing with defiance. The soldiers are caught off guard. They try to regroup, but it's too late. Saburo is upon them, his sword flashing in the firelight. The soldiers fall one by one until only one remains. He drops to his knees begging for mercy. Saburo, his face grim, stands over him. "Tell your master," Saburo says, his voice echoing the winter wind, "that we will not be broken. Tell him that this winter will be our last lesson in patience. Tell him that spring is coming." The soldier nods, understanding dawning on his face. As the first rays of dawn touch the snow-covered trees, Saburo and his companions stand ready. The fire in their hearts, now a raging inferno, is fueled by the promise of spring, a promise of a new beginning. In a realm of frosted pines and silent snows, Saburo and his companions quietly gather. Each warrior donned old armor, a silent testament to battles past. With steps as soft as falling snow, they move through the forest, becoming one with the shadows, embracing the unknown, hidden from prying eyes, yet close to their target. At midnight, when the moon was veiled by clouds, Saburo made the first strike. A small village nestled in the valley below was their chosen target. But this was no ordinary raid. This was a silent message, a warning carried on the wind. For Saburo's true goal was not to conquer, but to frighten, to send a message that echoed through the night. And so they struck fear into the hearts of the villagers, vanishing into the darkness as silently as they had come. The enemy awoke to find nothing but an empty village square and the faint imprint of footprints in the snow. They vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a silent threat that lingered in the frosty air. Panic seized the daimyo's men. Who was this enemy that seemed to rise from the shadows? What was their purpose in striking at the heart of their domain? Fear spread with every step, a silent, unseen stalker. And Saburo and his companions smiled in the dark, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the forest moon. They were the silent rebellion, a whisper in the darkness, a growing storm that threatened to engulf the land. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the frosted fields, the warriors prepared for their next move. The time for silence was over. It was time to make their presence known. And so they vanished into the night, their footsteps muffled by the snow, their forms swallowed by the darkness, leaving behind a haunting silence that spoke of their growing power. Saburo carries the weariness of battle on his shoulders. Scars mark his body, but his eyes still hold the fire of rebellion. Once a child of a small village, now the symbol of revolt against the empire that took everything from him, his people and his land. The very earth they walk on is soaked with the pain and the hope of 1,000 fallen comrades. And yet when Saburo looks up, he sees not just the stars in the night sky, but the faces of those who have fallen. Each one a reminder of the lives the rebellion has touched, the families torn apart, the futures stolen. The land has been shaped by pain, but also by the courage of those who refuse to bend. And in the quiet moments, Saburo can hear their whispers on the wind, urging him to keep going, urging him to win the freedom they died for. He is not alone in this fight. Round him are his companions, each as weary as he is, each carrying their own scars, their own story of loss. But together they are a fire that burns in the darkness, a beacon of hope in a world that has grown dim. The rebellion may not be over, but they are no longer alone. In the distance, a new campfire flickers to life, welcoming them, giving them strength. As they approach it, Saburo's eyes meet the gaze of his comrades. In their shared glance, there is understanding, empathy, and a silent vow to honor the fallen by continuing the fight. As the night deepens, the shadows grow, and with it, the danger. But as long as they have each other, as long as they have the memory of those who have fallen, they can face whatever comes next. Saburo knows this in his bones and the way his muscles tense, ready to fight, and the way his senses are on high alert, listening, watching. The time for rest will come, but not yet. Not while the Empire still stands. Not while there is still a chance to fight for freedom. As the first rays of sunlight touch the horizon, Saburo raises his head and lets out a long breath. The sun, even in its nascent glow, seems to understand the weight of their struggle. It is a new day, a new era. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Saburo will not give up the fight. This final light is the dawn of new hopes, a promise of a better day. A single tear traces a path down his weathered face, a testament to his pain, his loss, but also his enduring spirit. For as long as he lives, he will carry the memory of those who fell, not just for freedom, but for a future that they may never see.